Welcome to Francis Quilts, the site dedicated to the wonderful art of quilting, with a few other fun things thrown in as well. If you like what you see here, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so that you can be notified of future videos.
Hey guys, welcome back to Francis Quilts. Several weeks back, I attended the International Quilt Festival in Houston, and one of the classes that I took was with Christa Watson, who is an amazing free motion quilter. One of the things that she talked to us about was how to baste a quilt vertically on your design wall. So I thought I'd give it a try. I need to baste this particular quilt. I thought I'd give it a try, and let's just see how well it works. But first, I need to clean all of this mess off. So let's start with that. It's all clean and ready to go.
Now it's time to head out to the garage and get the backing piece sprayed. I did a little bit of sweeping in here just to get the concrete a little bit cleaner. I decided to leave the door open so I could get better filming, but you'll find out that that was actually a bad thing to do, but we'll get to that. I'm going to keep this in real time because I want you to see how long it actually took to baste this quilt. Was amazingly fast, really, and I think you'll see that it's a fairly easy way to do this. Probably the hardest part was just getting it all straightened out here. I prefer to use an ODIF, O-D-I-F 505 basting spray. I think it works really well. I always kick off my shoes because I'm going to step on top of this. It's just the easiest way to get to it. Now, I ended up doing this one pretty fast, and honestly, I wish I had spent a little more time and sprayed this backing fabric a little bit more. Just laying down a little more of the spray, I think an adhesive would have helped the process. One thing I like about this spray is it doesn't just go flying everywhere. I had some I used to use that when I was spraying, I would find little bits of it all over the floor around where the quilt was, but really don't have trouble with that. This particular spray stays in place where I spray it. So that half's done. Let's come back and do the other half. That's what I was worried about. I'm going a little bit faster even now because I'm freaking out about the fact that the wind's about to blow it more. And there it goes. So as I fold this up, if I didn't have all the little bits and pieces on there, I would have just very carefully folded it. Various bits of smuts actually did fall, blow in onto the top, so I was not real happy with that. But I'm just going to fold it in half. I'm not going to fold it all the way because I want to leave an area that that I can use at the top of the quilt, or sorry, at the top of the board when I'm basting it. All right, so I get my little handy dandy stool. And now I'm going to find the edge that is basted or has the basting spray on it. And I'm also going to try to find the center of it just so I can center it a little bit on my board. And as I put this up, remember that the basted side, the side with the spray, is facing out. The back of the fabric is what is up against the design wall. So I'm just putting a few pins in to hold it at the top. And as I get over here, I realize that I need to straighten that up some more. So there we go. Now the sprayed side is facing out from the board, so you're looking at the side that has the spray on it. And now I have to go through and pick off all the little bits and pieces that blew in there. Hopefully you will not have to do this step. Almost done. So now I'm just putting a couple of pins on the side just to hold this onto the board and hold it flat, and giving it a little bit of a stretch as I'm putting it on so that I get rid of any wrinkles that might be in the backing fabric. Do your pins get lost on that board? I try really hard to always keep them on a pin cushion, but sometimes I just find them all over the place. So now it is time to add the batting to this area that has been sprayed with the basting spray. I tried to find the center of my batting just to give me a little rough idea as to where to place it on here. And you can see I just took the center, decided where the center of my fabric was, and placed that down, and just ran my hand over it to hold it in place. And then came over here. Oh look, that's not particularly straight, but we can deal with that in a minute. And the basting spray is just holding that in place on there, and it really is working amazingly well. I was surprised because, again, I didn't think I'd put enough spray on it. So I'm ready now just to spread this out all across the backing fabric that has been sprayed. And at this point, I remembered something that Christa told us in the class. And that was to use a ruler to spread or to flatten out the areas and to push the areas, the fabrics into place together. It's so easy just to run it down a little bit down the middle. This is just like I'd do it if I was on the floor doing it. and then just move the batting over and use the ruler to just slide it in place. I realized there was a little fold there, so I had to just pull it back up a little bit just to give myself the ability to put it back on again. And that's one nice thing about the basting spray is you don't have to worry about that. Once you position it, it does not have to stay there. You can take it apart and redo it. And yeah, there's a little fold there, but that little thing is not going to matter. Okay, I'm happy with that. And I put an extra step in here. I actually brought my quilt top in and centered it over the batting just to make sure that I had enough room, that I wasn't going to run off the edge when I was putting this quilt on for good. Now look, see, I've got it in the wrong place there. Now if I'd done that and I had the spray already on there, that would have been problematic. So I moved it over a little bit. Just put a few pins in. It didn't have to have as many. I just wanted to hold it in place just a little bit at the top and see how it looked. And now I can just kind of spread it out. I can see that my batting is very short on one side. Before I take this off, I am going to mark where the center of my quilt is. So if I'm coming up from that center point right there all the way up to the top, I'm going to put a pin in there. Now I originally thought I was going to have to move it over a little bit more, and then I realized that that was too much, so I brought that pin back just a little bit. So that will tell me when I put the piece of the top on there again, I will know where the center of it needs to be. All done. Back to the garage. This time you will note I closed the garage door, so I shouldn't have the issues that I had with the backing. I'm just going to spread this down like I had done the backing piece. And now do the same process with the spray. Again, I'm adding a little more spray this time. And that can's empty, so let's grab another one. Do you have trouble getting lids off of things? This kills me. I'm not sure why you needed to see me throw that in the trash can, but there you go. On this top, I'm trying to spray very close to the edge of the fabric so that I can get a good seal along the edge of the quilt top or quilt sandwich. I will say I normally go in and add a few safety pins along that edge just to hold it in place, mostly just so I don't end up folding it back accidentally and quilting with a fold in it. Now that we're sprayed, I'm going to just pick up one end of the top after I figure out which one. Okay, let's do this one. Fold it over, not halfway, because I want to leave an area up front, up at the top there that I can pin it on. You can see how much easier this is when you don't have the wind in your way. And guess what? Now we're heading back to the studio again. As I open this up, I'm going to take that one edge that was not stuck together that I left free, so you can see it right there, and I'm going to find the center of that quilt, and I'm now going to take it up and I'm going to pin place the center of the quilt where I had put that pin in originally. And I'm sorry that this video is not straight. It would be a whole lot easier to see if I had actually videoed it straight. You see, I'm not having to pin anything at this point because I'm just sticking it down. It's holding really well just with sticking it down. Now I've decided that I'm ready to pull out the bottom portion there that's all kind of stuck together. I start to pull and then decide maybe I should put a few pins in that top part just to hold it, just in case I pull a little bit too hard. I don't want to lose what I've already done there. So you can see it's stuck together a little bit, but not badly. I am glad I put the extra pins in because I'm afraid if I hadn't, I would have just pulled it straight off again. I'm just doing now a little look just to see if I have centered it well enough. Again, one side of that batting is very close. Look at the back to make sure I have it on the backing fabric all right. And get my trusty ruler, and here we go. Again, it is such an easy way to do this, just using that ruler to smooth that quilt in place as you go. My technique is to go to the middle and then come to the side. Go back to the middle, come down a little bit, and go to the next side. And I know this is a little bit boring, but again, I wanted you to see it being done in real time. Using a little bit of a scrubbing sort of motion there. I'm paying special attention to the corners because I want them to be square when I get down there. And as you look, you can see that the sashing and the borders all seem like they have squared up and lined up pretty nicely.
Wow, that seemed to work really, really well. I love the idea of using a ruler to smooth it. That was so much easier than just using my hand to smooth it. I knew I was getting large areas. I knew I was keeping it nice and straight. Now, was this faster? Maybe not. But was it better? Yes, absolutely, because I did not have to get down on the ground and tape down the edges of the backing fabric and then crawl around on it like I normally do. And so for that reason, I think this was a much easier way to baste this quilt. A few things I learned: obviously, close the garage door so that you don't have smuts getting blown in onto your pieces that have already have the adhesive on them. Secondly, I will be a little bit more careful in doing my batting so that I have it a little more even. I just rough cut this, and I should have done it a little bit straighter so that I didn't have to worry about coming too close to the edge, but that obviously worked. I do think laying the quilt on it first, just to make sure it was all going to fit before I ever sprayed the basting, that was a good thing to do. And in doing that, I was able to put a pin where my center mark is, and so that way I could easily reposition it when I brought it back in. So the next step is to get it off of the wall and trim up these extra edges, and then I also will put it on my ironing board and just give it a really good press. I would show you that part right now, but at this point my cutting board is completely covered up with two different projects I have going, so I'm gonna have to clean that before I can trim, but it's gonna be trimmed up and ready tomorrow for me to start doing the quilting on it. Well, that's it for today. I hope you learned a new technique and something that will make your quilting life easier and better. If you enjoyed this video, I would encourage you to please hit the like button, and if you really like this video, maybe hit subscribe so that you'll be notified when new videos come out. Thanks again for joining me today, and I'll see you next time on Francis Quilts.
Remember, if you like what you've seen, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please check out my website and daily blog at francisquilts.com, and I can be found on Facebook and Instagram at Francis Quilts. Thanks so much for joining me. Hope to see you again soon.